The Malheur lumber mill in John Day had hung on longer than most in eastern Oregon after a decade or more of conflict that drastically curtailed logging on Oregon's national forests. By late 2012, there simply weren't enough logs to keep it going, and John Day's biggest employer announced that some 80 people would be out of work.
The community needs more jobs. In order for us to create more jobs, we need to know that there's going to be fiber available off of our national forests. 75% of the growing trees in Grant County comes from our national forest. If the forest plans indicate that forest management through stewardship contracts will be available for us in the future, we will make further investment.
I think our east side and interior southwest national forests are really at risk right now. And the reason they're at risk is that historically fire, low intensity, frequent fire, came through those forests, burned through the understory, and protected and allowed the large, old, primarily ponderosa pine and sugar pine trees to persist. But what we've seen over the last 100 years with fire suppression and our harvest activities, we've removed a lot of the old, large trees, over 90% of them, and we've allowed the understory to fill in. And in the absence of fire, now we have highly dense stands of small trees, shade-tolerant trees that are all risk of large, uncharacteristic wildfire.
Faced with unhealthy forests, loss of mill infrastructure, and a declining rural economy, state and federal leaders saw the need for a new business model. Old adversaries found new reasons to come to the table to wage peace after decades of timber wars.
Conventional thinking says national forests are the Fed's responsibility. Oregon is taking a partnership approach, one in which the state takes on a much more active role. A relatively small investment of state funds is being a catalyst by providing support to local collaboratives and getting boots on the ground to accelerate the pace and scale of federal forest management.
As its part to speed forest restoration, the Forest Service completed an unprecedented 10-year stewardship contract in record time. Teresa Raff, the forest supervisor at the time, called it a holistic approach. Blue Mountains Forest Partners is a local collaborative group. Susan Jane Brown, a staff attorney with the Western Environmental Law Center, is a member.
Collaboration has been the key to successful implementation of the 10-year stewardship contract. Collaboration is very time-consuming and difficult, but in the end, it creates more durable and lasting solutions than any court order.
Foresters estimate that about half of the 1.7 million acre Malheur National Forest is in need of work to restore health and fire resiliency. As a result of the collaborative's work, the state's investment, and the Forest Service picking up the pace, timber sales on the Malheur have more than doubled since 2011. This year, the Forest Service expects to sell about 70 million board feet off the Malheur National Forest. Just as important, the mill is running full speed, and people are again working in the woods. Zach Williams works for Iron Triangle Logging, the company selected by the Forest Service to manage timber harvest and restoration activities as a part of the 10-year stewardship contract.
I'm a fifth-generation resident of John Day, and I'd like to stay here and raise my family. It's exciting to see what happens when people partner together to find a solution that benefits the community, the economy, and the forest. It's great what happened here, but it shouldn't take a crisis. Forests across southwest and eastern Oregon are in similarly poor condition, and the time to do something about it is now.
Oregon's investment is restoring the health and fire resiliency of our federal forests, moving us from conflict to collaboration. We can replicate the Malheur model in national forests throughout the state. It just takes people willing to work together to get things done.